All right. Congratulations to the Bulldogs, and we'll just start with a quick comment from Coach Sandelin.
Wow. Well, first off, again, I want to congratulate Jeff and Notre Dame. They had, again, outstanding season. Obviously, we used the same MO the last 3 games to win 3 games in a row, but couldn't be more proud of our team. The way these guys battled and grew together, and obviously it's a special championship for the program. I mean, I was fortunate to be a part of the first one, but this one's just as special. They never get old, and I'm extremely happy for these 3 guys here that get to go out on a really, really good note, and it's pretty remarkable that what they've done to be up here as national champions. They deserve all the credit, especially our leaders.
All right, questions for the players? Start in the back there. Reminder to identify yourself and your affiliation each time. Thank you.
Andy Greeter, St. Paul Pioneer Press, and the former UMD Statesman. Coach, can you share with me a little bit about going into the year and the 5 freshmen that you had in the D pairs, and how much of a concern that was for you, and how redemptive it has been to have them win?
Yeah, you want to take that, but then we'll stick with the players to start with, because they want to get going. Sandy will stay here all night with you.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know about that.
Maybe not tonight. Well, Paris, we just do. We had, obviously lost a big chunk of their back end and had, 5 incoming freshmen, and we recruited them for a reason because they're talented players, and but I'm not going to sit here and lie. We had a question mark on who's going to jump up and be our goalie. How are those guys going to do? We felt our forward group was pretty good. We weren't replacing. We were replacing scoring, but we had some good depth, and so we felt pretty good about that. But the job that young group back there did, obviously, I think it really started to move forward when Shep grabbed the net and played the way he did, and gave our whole team confidence. And again, tonight you saw a couple of saves he made, but that when you get goaltending, everybody feels better. But we were talking about how excited we are to see where this young D-corps is going to be in 1 or 2 years after this year or next year. So, well, they got some work to do, so we're going to have to. But it's a pretty special group.
All right, Oliver.
Oliver Francis, Seymour Sports. Starting for Karson, can you talk about the play that Jade made in the neutral zone to kind of set up your goal? And then for all 3 of you guys, can you talk about what having a guy like Jade Miller and some of the other depth guys on your team and how they've kind of helped you get to this point this year and what they've meant?
Oh, you sure don't want to add a 3rd question in there, Oliver? There's other people that want to ask.
That's fine. No, obviously, those guys have been playing great all year. That's one thing that we knew coming in the season that we'd have was really good depth up front, and obviously any single night, lines 1 through 4 could score, and all 6D can put the puck in the net. Shep could probably score if he came out too. I don't know, but no, it was a good play. I think Jader got a stick on a puck, and I was able to turn in transition quick and sneak one by his glove.
What was that other bit you had? I don't remember. The depth guys. Jared?
Yeah, I think we have a bunch of unsung heroes on our team. There's a guy sitting right down there. He's came such a long way since his freshman year. And, we had so many guys like that on our team playing 3rd, 4th line, and we were never afraid when they were on the ice. We knew that they were going to do their job, and we trusted everyone in our locker room, whether the guys were playing or even the guys that weren't in the lineup. If we needed them, we knew they would be ready to step right in, and I think that goes unnoticed sometimes is those depth guys. So I'm just so happy for our group, and especially those guys that don't get a lot of recognition.
Just kidding around there, Oliver. Jim, and then over to Pat here. Right here, Jim. Sorry about that. I didn't point him out very well.
Thank you, Jim Conley from U.S. College Hockey Online. For any of you guys, can you talk about the third period defense and what you guys brought? I think it was the last 7 minutes of the game. I don't think you allowed a shot on goal. That's clock stayed at 20 shots for so long, trying to protect that lead.
Blake?
I just think that shows our mentality coming into a third period, holding the lead. You know, guys are buying into the systems. We talked during the locker room about getting pucks deep and making them play defense for that 20 minutes, and I think you saw that. A perfect example, just maintaining pucks down low, and then when they did have offensive time, it was one and done. It was no second chances, and I just think the guys stepped up huge tonight and played their balls off. Excuse my language.
We'll see the interpretation. All right, Pat.
It's all right.
Follow that, Pat. I mean,
I've got pretty close to no chance, but I'm going to try. Pat Borsey with the New York Times. Karson, speaking of depth, I mean, you scored that goal on the fourth line filling in when Roth got hurt. How much had you played with those guys before tonight?
That was the first shift. But I think that just goes to show how much depth we have, how much trust we have in those other two guys when Roth went down. Obviously, in the national championship game, you gotta include everybody. All four lines have to contribute there, and it was a good hard play, and couldn't be happier for those guys.
all right. Over here.
Chris Lorch, USCHL, for any of the players. Your coach mentioned the same MO. The last 3 games have been very similar. Did that give you confidence knowing that you could play in these close games, these 2-1 games?
Jared?
Yeah, I feel like we've had this conversation before. I don't know what it is. We couldn't find that third goal, I guess, the last 3 games. But, hey, our team did a great job. There was never a panic. There was never any doubt in our room. If we needed to win the game 2-1, we were going to win the game 2-1. And you saw it in our third period play there. We kind of really shut them down there towards the end of the third period. And that's just how we like winning games, I guess, is 2-1 close games, get a lead early and hold on. And anytime you're in a game like this against a team like Notre Dame, you knew they were going to make a push. And we just had to weather the storm there a bit and stick to our game plan, which I think we did. And fortunate enough to come away with the win.
Meyer?
Meyer Metcalf, ESPN.com. For Blake, back here from Saskatchewan, obviously a tough time for a lot of people back home with the tragic accident. Just wondering how much you've thought about that in the last 24 hours.
I mean, yeah, I found out with my mom last night, and it's tough because Saskatchewan's such a tight-knit group of people, you know, small communities, everyone knows everyone, and your heart aches when you hear news like that. And I was fortunate enough to play with some of those guys on that team, so just not knowing was a struggle, and it was definitely on my mind all of last night, all of today, and, you know, just kind of told myself, go out there and lay it on the line for those guys who can't anymore.
Toby and John.
Toby Hunter with The Observer. For any of you guys, did it feel kind of like destiny that you end up facing Notre Dame in the title game after they kind of help you get in the tournament? And what was the mentality, heading into that, and just talk about that run you guys made?
Karson?
Yeah, I think so. Obviously, one day you think you owe them a little bit, like a thank you, and then the next day you're playing them in the national title game. But at the same time, we knew what our group had. I think barely making it in was kind of a wake-up call for our group, and then from there we just took it one game at a time. 4 wins to win a national title, and that's what we did.
John?
John Gilbert from MinnesotaHockeyMagazine.com. Jared, you know, you talk about unsung heroes, but when you were in high school, you were a sung hero. You had great scoring touch, came in here with great scoring touch. You worked hard, I mean, for 4 years without scoring. You did all the other things well. Was it tough to keep that mentality up? Because you stuck with it, and your coach stuck with you, and you end up scoring the winning goal.
Yeah, it's kind of come full circle. Obviously, there were some ups and downs throughout my career here, but I mean, I would trade this feeling for no goals. I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, I can't even really put into words. I just became a more well-rounded hockey player, I feel, in my career here. I don't feel like I lost my scoring touch or anything like that. It's just college hockey is a hard game, and we're fortunate enough to have some pretty good depth on our teams throughout the years, and we always had the guys that were going to score, and that just wasn't my role. And this year I came into the year and knew that I needed to step up in the scoring department, and just tried to play with that confidence and make plays like I know I can, and just so happened to find a couple pucks go in the net for me this year, and all in all, end a college career as a national championship. I wouldn't trade that for the world, and doing it alongside of these guys is even that much more special.
John, we got to use the bikes there. What did you see on the goal as a question? Just for the trend?
Yeah, on the goal there, just got in on the forecheck, kind of disrupted the play, and then Karson got in there for the second man quick and popped the puck loose, and I just took it and saw a seam to the net there, and just kind of threw a surprise shot at his feet, and I think it ended up banking in off him and going in the net and found a hole. So, I mean, we just wanted to get pucks on this guy from everywhere, and that was just fortunate enough for me to find a little hole there and have it sneak in.
Awesome. All right, Dave.
Dave Hendrickson, USCHO. This is for both Jared and Karson. Beginning of the second period, you guys are up 2-0. You have almost 4 uninterrupted minutes of power play time. You guys have a great power play. Was there a sense of anticipation on the bench that here we can maybe blow this out and maybe not make it such a tight game, and then it turns out you can't capitalize and they get it back and it's a tight game all over again?
Karson.
Yeah, I think something that we've focused on all year is not so much scoring on the power play, creating momentum off it. Whether that's getting pucks to the net, scrums around the net, bodies at the net. Obviously, you would like to see one go in to find that third one there, but at the same time, I think we had a couple good looks, and give them credit. They killed, they blocked shots, they did all the little things in that 4-minute span there.
Jared.
Yeah, obviously a big thing is momentum there. 4 minutes of power play is 4 less minutes for them to attack us. So, I mean, we had a lot of good looks there. They did well on the kill. Their goalie made some saves, and it's not like we weren't getting any chances, and they kept us down in our own zone or anything like that. But we'd obviously like to see one go in and give us that 3-goal lead. But I mean, we were proud with our effort and on the power play at least, and at least trying to get some momentum and some pressure on them.
Ed Trefsker, USCHO, for Karson. After a season of some ups and downs, especially at the end of your NCHC season, how does it feel right now to have gone through these 4 games and then add the cherry on top of MOP?
Yeah, it's special. Like I said before, I just couldn't be more proud of that group of guys in there. Roller coaster first half. Took a lot away from it as teaching moments, especially for our younger guys. And you know what? We kind of anticipated that. And in the second half, went on a little run. And I think coming down to the XL for the NCHC tournament there was a good wake-up call for us. We got a taste of what playoff hockey was like. Got punched in the nose a little bit there. And was fortunate enough to make the tournament, and obviously ran with our opportunity.
Over to the right here, guys.
Eric Vigo, The Athletic. Karson, during the second period, Notre Dame seemed to get some speed through the neutral zone. Did you change your focus in your forecheck to kind of tighten things up there?
Yeah, we tweaked a few things. Obviously, we didn't want to get on our heels. I think that's one thing with a 2-goal lead that a lot of teams have tendency to do. Kind of get on their heels a bit. We want to stay on our toes and pressure them a little bit. Give them credit. They got good players, and that's what good players do. They find teams and create speed and make plays through neutral zone. And yeah, they were able to get a few off the rush, but I thought for the most part we weathered it pretty well.
All right, I'll take one more if you have it. If not, we're good. You guys did a good job. A lot of questions. Guys, congratulations. Enjoy the celebration.
Thanks, guys. Thank you, everyone. Yeah.
I wish I could leave with you. Watch out for those lights, too.
All All right, we'll continue with your questions for Coach Sandelin. Dave.
Dave Hendrickson, USCHO. Kind of similar to what I asked the players. Did you have that feeling that with those 4 minutes of power play time at the beginning of the second period, that you really had a chance to put the game, if not out of the way, you really had a chance to seize control of it? Was there any sense of frustration that here we go again, it's going to be another one-goal game after all?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it. I mean, just have a little urgency. I mean, sometimes, you get a short power play at the end of a period. We had a good first period. Obviously, we had some momentum, and sometimes you lose a little bit of that in between. And I don't think we lost a lot of it. But, they did, like Karson said, they did a good job killing, too. We got some looks. But when you don't score on those and then you turn around and take a couple yourself, I mean, it was kind of like the Ohio State game where we killed one, but sometimes you can't kill the other one. But, you can lose some momentum there a little bit in the game. But we haven't been able to find that third goal for whatever reason. I mean, I was hoping tonight it would be that, but we just kind of stayed with it. I thought their second period, they got some momentum off the kills. I thought they stepped up their physical game. I thought we didn't take care of the puck as well as we did in the first period, and I think that led to their speed through the neutral zone and some of their transition. And I thought we regrouped in the third period and played a smart third period.
Third straight year, the NCHC has won the national title right here on the end.
Sean Davidge, SB Nation. Coach, obviously when you played here 3 weeks ago, it didn't go your way. You end up sweating it out and snuck into the tournament. And just what were you guys able to do so well that you weren't able to do 3 weeks ago and get you here to the top?
Well, I think when we were here 3 weeks ago, we played two pretty good teams. Denver's was one of the best teams, if not one of the top teams all year. We lost a 3-1 game to them with an empty net goal, and we took two stupid penalties at the end of the game that never gave us a chance. The next night, we played a North Dakota team that was fighting for their lives, as we were, but they were the more desperate team. They were also a team we've beaten 8 times in a row. I knew what was coming. We didn't respond very well because at that time, our power play didn't give us any momentum, and kind of our bench went bleh. And you know what? They capitalized and they won a hockey game, and we left here thinking, I was disappointed not so much in the losses. I mean, I was disappointed how we finished those games. We were shorthanded for both of the end of those games, and we never gave ourselves a chance. And I think that's probably what I was most disappointed with. We talked about it after the selection show on Sunday, and this group reset and refocused. And like I said, I think they took advantage of an opportunity. When we won at 11, we lost to Bemidji State in the Thursday playing game. Took 3 days off and got in and won 4 straight. And sometimes that's all it takes. But I couldn't be more excited for this group and more proud of this group for regrouping and doing what they've done.
Pat.
Yeah, Scott, Pat Borsey with the New York Times. What is Ross' injury, and why did you decide to plug Karson into his spot?
I know it's a lower body. I know it's in a boot. I haven't got to the final, but you're down to 11 forwards, and I just liked, obviously, Karson, the way he was playing. I mean, that was kind of the first shift of those guys, and we were both teams are kind of running 4 lines to start, and I was going to start with Karson and move some other, left wings around. It could have been Blake, it could have been, Riley, and then they went out there, and I mean, you guys all saw how Karson was moving in the first period, and he said he was fine to go, and I just told him keep shift short, and because he was going to play obviously with Jared and Swains too, so it paid off. Those guys made a good play. Obviously, it was a big goal for us to get the lead.
Oliver.
Oliver Francis, Seymour Sports. Coach, talk about kind of when you first saw Jade Miller and what you liked about his game and how he's kind of developed as a player to get him to this point tonight.
So honestly, I didn't see him. My assistant saw him, right? And we were kind of looking for a player a little bit later in the year. We had talked to him a little bit during the year, and then those guys continued to watch him, and he was just a good fit. I mean, he's put up numbers in junior. I think he's he didn't play as much as the game went on. Neither did Billy. We didn't really play at fourth line. Neither were they, unfortunately. But that line together, when Kobe and Jade and Billy have played together, they've been really good for us. They all have really good chemistry. I mean, they can make plays. They bring energy. And he's had a really good year. I mean, considering last year was a little bit up and down for him. Was in, then he was out, but he's learned how to be a much more consistent player, and obviously he's got good offensive ability, and that line played a key role for us this year.
Front here.
Mick Hatton from the St. Cloud Times. Scott, just describe Karson Kuhlman a little bit as a player and what he did here in the playoffs for you guys. Obviously,
Karson?
Yes.
Not just here, it was all year. You know what? I think I've said it every year, and Duluth reporters know. I said if I could have 25 guys like him, my job would be really easy. He's a special kid. Again, does everything right. He's disciplined. You know, it's just fun. I mean, some kids you got to tell 15 times to do something. He's one time and he does it. But I think this year's been fun because our relationship as a captain and the coaching staff grew. We had a lot of talks early in the year. It was fun to see him, you know, kind of mature into the leader he was this year. Because again, I said it the other day, there certainly was some frustrating times for everybody, but we found a way together to get through it, and he was a big part of that. And I know Jared wasn't wearing a letter, and he stepped up his play. Blake Young, those guys that were seniors played outstanding. So it doesn't mean you have to be wearing a letter, but I can't say enough about Karson. He's a great kid. He's been an outstanding captain for us, and I was so excited to hear he was, you know, most valuable player of this tournament because he certainly deserved it.
Scott, what was the atmosphere like?
It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was awesome. I like playing here. This is great.
Right back here.
Connor Mulvaney with The Observer. Coach, Cale Morris has had a great season, and you guys kind of managed to get to him early. What was the mindset going in, and how did you guys execute?
Well, again, get pucks. I mean, he doesn't give a lot of rebounds. I mean, obviously, I don't know if Carson's first goal was off their defenseman's stick. It wasn't just good shot. It kind of looked like I couldn't tell, but you know, again, getting pucks, getting traffic, trying to get him, you know, getting inside the dots, trying to make it a little bit harder because he's not going to give up much if he sees pucks, and he's certainly not going to give up rebounds. And I think Jared kind of caught him by surprise. They did the same thing to Shep. They almost scored on. Some of those surprise shots are good shots, but we knew it was going to be tough. That's why it was great to see the first one go in because you know what, that might be all you need, and he's certainly capable with the type of goalie he is and the year that he's had to not give up any more. But we found a way to get an extra one, and that ended up being the game winner.
Over here to your right, Eric.
Eric Vigo, The Athletic. How important is it to have some seniors on this year's team, and is it the consistent play that they bring that separates them from younger players?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's nice to have the young players that bring a lot of energy, and you know that obviously they're talented young players too. But you know, like I said before, I mean, our youngest position was obviously the back end, and I was pretty comfortable with our forwards. But you know, these guys played last year too, and they've been in the NCAA tournament, and they were in the championship game last year. And you know, I'm not gonna lie, I wanted them to share that with our guys, and you know, hopefully it helped a little bit. But you know, experience means a lot. And just because you've been there last year doesn't mean you know everything, but it certainly helps. And I think it's nice for those guys to be able to bounce things off the guys that haven't been here and just kind of get them focused on what it's like. And again, I mean, we try to let them enjoy the experience. I mean, let them enjoy the experience. We're not an overly structured team with meetings and different stuff. So they enjoyed each other, and I think it showed in practices. I think it showed in the game how they cared about each other, and they won for each other.
I'd like to really thank Tom McGinnis, the chair of the Division I Men's Ice Hockey Committee, and our host from the University of Minnesota, Kristen Fossbender, who's the chair, or from the NCAA Director of Championships, I should say, Jack Larson, and staff here at the Xcel Energy Center. It's been a terrific championship. We're glad you're all here. We'll take one last question in the front here, and then we'll be out of here.
I'm Matthew Davison with Sun Newspapers, and I want to ask about your leading goal scorer for the season, Riley Tufte. Didn't really get many points in the Frozen Four or the tournament in general. How well did he still contribute, and how well did the team really kind of pick up the slack where teams were trying to key on him?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, with him and Peter and Joey, you're going to see, like they saw tonight, they saw Wade and Gilbert, two of their shutdown defensemen, physical. But you know what? I think Riley had a good year for us. I mean, he had a really good first half. I mean, I think he had 8 or 9 goals in the first half. Same thing in the second half. He's growing as a player. But his game has taken steps, and we're looking forward to where he could be next year. But he was a big contributor, and it's not easy. It's not easy going against everybody's best lines and best defensemen, and so I think he's learned from that too. But there's other ways to contribute, and I thought he had a really good year for us.
Scott, thanks very much. Congratulations. Enjoy the celebration.
Thanks, Fisher.